Hi, my name is Jara. I teach people how to garden and grow food. Today I'm going to show you how easy it is to grow potatoes in grow bags. There are several reasons why I actually prefer to grow potatoes in grow bags instead of in the ground. Number one, I have a very small garden and finding ground space to plant a big crop like potatoes is really difficult. So I like to use grow bags all over my small garden. They really help maximize my growing space because I can pop these grow bags in awkward, unused spaces, corners, the edges of my property like what you see here. You'll be surprised how much you can maximize your growing space by using grow bags. Reason number two is that potatoes easily rot in soils that are too moist. So if you grow things in grow bags, you have better drainage, and plus the grow bags dry out the soil much quicker. Usually that's a con to growing things in grow bags, but in this case it actually helps. And I'm in Florida. I start planting my seed potatoes in the months of January and February, and normally I start harvesting sometime in June. June can be a very rainy month for us. We can get rain every single day, so growing potatoes in grow bags really helps so they don't rot before it's time for harvest. And reason number three, which is my personal favorite, is that I don't need to dig out the potatoes when it's harvest time. I don't know about you, but I really personally hate the process of digging potatoes and sweet potatoes out of the ground. That's really hard work. So make it easy on yourself, grow them in a grow bag, dump the whole grow bag out onto like a tarp or something, and then you get to harvest all of your potatoes without having to dig out anything. Plus then you can reuse that soil for other things in your garden. So let me show you how easy it is to plant these in grow bags. First, you need to buy your seed potatoes. I highly recommend that you buy official seed potatoes, not potatoes that you bought from the grocery store and started or sprouted at home. The reason for that is that grocery store potatoes have been sprayed with some kind of growth inhibitor to prevent them from sprouting. Now, yes, you'll get it to sprout. You can plant it. You'll harvest something from it. But in general, a lot of gardeners report that those types of potatoes produce potatoes that are generally smaller and don't really produce that well as compared to buying seed potatoes, which are official potatoes grown and not sprayed for you to grow from and harvest in your own garden. Plus, seed potatoes tend to be disease-free certified, which is really important, especially if you're a gardener in Florida where we have a lot of diseases to begin with. I got these seed potatoes from my local Tractor Supply, but you can get them online. There's so many different retailers that sell great seed potatoes. General guidelines are you're going to plant your seed potatoes about 2 weeks before your last spring frost date. If you don't know your last spring frost date, you can go to a website called plantmaps.com. You put in your zip code and it will tell you your average last spring frost date. For me here in Florida, that's going to land me in the month of January and February because my last average spring frost date is usually the second week of February. All right, so let's talk about the grow bags. Now, I'm in Florida and grow bags deteriorate really quickly in the elements, so I make it a point to only buy the heavy-duty reinforced grow bags, and they last me a really long time. If you want to get the same ones I'm using, you can follow the link to Amazon in my description. For growing potatoes, I recommend using grow bags that are 5-gallon all the way to around 15-gallon. Once you start using the bigger grow bags like the 20 or 30 gallons, they get really heavy when they're all completely full of soil, so that makes it hard to dump them over. Therefore, going a little bit smaller is actually preferred. I personally don't like the 5 gallons, but a lot of people grow potatoes in 5-gallon containers and it works out fine. My personal favorite is either 10 or 15. I'm going to be using 15-gallon size grow bags. Here's the 15-gallon size grow bag. It's a pretty decent size and you can grow a lot of potatoes in here. I have a pro tip for you guys when it comes to gardening with grow bags. But first, if you're enjoying this video and learning something new, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. That way you get notified of every time I post new videos. Also, make sure you connect with me on social media. I'm on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook where I post daily gardening inspiration and tips. So pro tip for you guys, whenever you're gardening with grow bags, put down some heavy-duty weed blocking material first. That way you don't have to worry about weeding in between these grow bags. That gets really annoying having to reach over them and try to get into these little crevices in between each bag. So just put down some weed blocking material and make life easier on yourself. Now let's get started by filling the bottom of the grow bags with about 6 inches of soil. Honestly, I'm using the cheapest compost I can find. Potatoes need soil rich in organic matter, so that fits the bill. They also need loose soil to grow nice big potatoes. You can add some sand to loosen up the soil if needed. For every 5 gallons of container size that you have, I recommend planting 2 to 3 seed potatoes. And just so you know, right here I am planting blue Arondiak, if I'm saying that correctly, and red Norland. Red Norland is said to grow really well in Florida, by the way. I've decided to put 5 seed potatoes per 15-gallon grow bag, and you want to plant them with the eyes facing up. The eyes are where the potato plants are going to sprout and grow their leaves and stems. So just eyeball it and equally space them out. Now let's talk about fertilizer. Anytime that I'm planting something, I am always adding fertilizer. But first I'm just going to add a little bit of organic granular fertilizer. This is just all-purpose. And I'm just going to eyeball it, just a couple handfuls. The good thing about using organic fertilizers is you don't risk burning your plants or overdosing them on fertilizers like you do with the synthetic kind. And then since potatoes are a root crop, they really need a lot of potassium and phosphorus to develop nice, strong, big roots. So I'm going to add in a little bit of extra muriate of potash, which gives you the potassium, and some triple superphosphate, which gives you a lot of phosphorus. Now, both of these are not organic, but they are the only source that I can find locally that is like high in either potassium or phosphorus. So this is what I'm going to use, but if I could find an organic source, I definitely would use that instead. But it's okay. I've been using this on a lot of my root crops with great success. Just make sure that you follow the directions for how much to apply to your potatoes. All right, so sprinkle that in. All right, so we're almost done here. We've got our seed potatoes in our grow bags along with some fertilizer. The last step is to add enough soil to just cover the surface of the potatoes. Please be very careful and always make sure that your potatoes are covered by soil and that they're not exposed to the sun, because sunlight causes some kind of reaction for a poisonous or toxic type of chemical to grow inside of the potatoes and causes them to turn green. That's why people say do not eat potatoes if they are green. I'm just going to add some more compost to top them off and make sure they're covered. Now, we did not fill the entire bag with soil, okay? We just filled it to cover those potatoes, and there's a reason for that. Potatoes are part of the nightshade family, just like tomatoes. And like tomatoes, they will start sprouting roots wherever their stems come in contact with soil. So as these potatoes sprout and their stems start growing, we're actually going to be adding more and more soil to cover those stems and cause the plant to have a bigger root system and therefore produce more potatoes for you. Once these sprout and their stems are about 7 to 8 inches, you're going to add more soil to cover that whole stem up into the top leaves. So right underneath those top leaves, you're going to stop. Then you're going to allow that stem to continue growing another 7 to 8 inches, add some more soil, and keep doing that until your whole grow bag is finally full of soil. In general, potatoes need about 120 days from planting to be ready for harvest. You can tell they're ready for harvest when the plants actually start dying back. I will be making another YouTube video sometime around in June when I finally harvest these. So make sure that you subscribe to my channel, that way you get notified of when I post that video. If you have any questions or any potato growing tips for me, maybe some of your favorite varieties, please let me know in the comments below. I learned just as much from you guys as you do from me. Thank you so much for watching, and happy gardening.